Oh, precious people, listen to me. There is a battle raging, and it is not against the world outside. It is inside of you. Many have fallen not because of the enemy they see, but because of the enemy they speak with their own mouth. Many are defeated not because of circumstances, but because of a mind left unchecked, a mood allowed to rule, and money misused. How many of you long for peace? How many of you cry out in the night, saying, "Why is my life in chaos?" I tell you today, the answer is not in what you gain, but in what you control. And hear me, until you take dominion over your mouth, mood, money, and mind, you will always live in frustration. But if you grasp what I say today, you will walk in power. Stay with me, because what you hear in the next few moments can change your life forever. Words are the most powerful force given to humanity. From the very beginning of time, words have created, shaped, and destroyed. Everything that exists in your life today is the result of words. Words you have spoken, words you have believed, words that have been spoken over you. There is power in the tongue, and if you do not control it, it will control you. Some people live their entire lives wondering why nothing changes, why they remain stuck in cycles of defeat, never realizing that their own mouths have kept them bound. You cannot expect to walk in victory while speaking words of failure. You cannot expect to live in peace while your lips are constantly declaring fear and doubt. The tongue is a small member, yet it carries the power of life and death. How often have we spoken words in anger only to regret them later? How many relationships have been destroyed? How many opportunities lost? How many blessings delayed because of careless speech? It is not enough to say, "I didn't mean it." The words have already been released. A sword once drawn may cut deep, and though an apology may come, the wound remains. Many do not realize that their words are like seeds planted into the soil of their own lives. When you speak, you sow, and what you sow, you will surely reap. If you sow words of discouragement, you will live in discouragement. If you sow words of fear, you will walk in fear. But if you choose to speak words of faith, words of truth, words of life, then you will see the fruit of those words manifest. The problem is not that people do not desire change. They cry out for change. They long for breakthrough, but they refuse to change their confession. You cannot walk in light while speaking darkness. You cannot expect healing while constantly declaring sickness. What you declare becomes your reality. The enemy understands this principle well. He does not need to destroy you if he can deceive you into destroying yourself with your own words. He whispers lies, but it is your agreement with those lies that gives them power. When you say, "I will never be free," you have already imprisoned yourself. When you say, "Nothing ever goes right for me," you have already declared defeat over your life. But listen to me, there is another way. You do not have to be a slave to your own tongue. You do not have to let your words destroy you. You can take control of your mouth, and when you do, you take control of your future. Begin to guard your words. Do not speak in haste. Do not speak in anger. Do not let your emotions dictate what comes from your lips. Instead, train yourself to speak with wisdom. Let every word that leaves your mouth be a seed of life. Declare truth even when your circumstances say otherwise. Speak hope even when everything looks hopeless. Confess victory even when you feel defeated, because the truth is, your words have the power to shape your reality. Consider a farmer planting seeds in the ground. He does not see immediate results, but he knows that if he continues to water and nurture those seeds, a harvest will surely come. In the same way, when you begin to speak words of life, you may not see the change overnight, but keep speaking, keep declaring, keep planting seeds of faith, and in due time you will see the harvest. Words are not empty. They are living, they are active, and they carry weight. You have been given the ability to create with your tongue. What will you create? A life of defeat or a life of victory? A life of struggle or a life of abundance? Some of you have spoken so many negative words over yourselves that you have built walls of limitation around your life, but today you can begin to tear down those walls. Repent for every careless word. Ask for grace to speak with wisdom. Begin to fill your mouth with truth. Let your speech be a fountain of life, not a source of destruction. Speak words that edify. Words that encourage, words that align with the destiny that has been prepared for you. And above all, remember this: you will have what you say. So choose your words wisely, because your future depends on them. Emotions are a powerful force within every human being. They can lift you to the highest heights of joy or drag you down to the lowest depths of despair. Some people go through life being ruled by their emotions, letting their feelings dictate their actions, their choices, and even their faith. But hear me when I say this. Your emotions are not meant to control you. You were never meant to be a slave to your mood. If you do not learn to master your emotions, they will master you. Many people live in constant turmoil, not because of what is happening around them, but because of what is happening inside of them. They are tossed about by every change in their feelings, never finding stability, never knowing peace, because they have not learned to take control of their inner world. How many people have made life-altering decisions in a moment of anger, only to regret them later? How many words have been spoken in haste, cutting deep wounds that time could never erase? How many relationships have been broken? How many doors have been shut, simply because someone allowed their emotions to take the lead? If you let your feelings run wild, they will lead you places you never intended to go. They will cause you to say things you never meant to say. They will push you into actions you will later wish you could undo. Feelings are real, but they are not always right. They can deceive, they can distort, they can pull you into a storm that was never meant to be yours to fight. There are those who wake up feeling hopeless, and because they feel hopeless, they assume that life has no meaning. There are those who feel unworthy, and because they feel unworthy, they believe they have no value. There are those who feel afraid, and because they feel afraid, they never step out into the calling that was meant for them. But hear me now. Just because you feel something does not make it true. Your emotions may tell you one thing, but truth remains unshaken. You may feel abandoned, but you are not alone. You may feel like a failure, but that is not your destiny. You may feel overwhelmed, but you are not defeated. If you allow your emotions to dictate your life, you will be unstable, unreliable, and ineffective. The key is not to suppress your emotions, but to master them. You must learn to rule over them instead of allowing them to rule over you. This does not mean ignoring how you feel, but it means not letting those feelings control your decisions. When anger rises, do not let it push you into destruction. When sadness comes, do not let it pull you into despair. When fear whispers, do not let it silence your faith. There is a higher truth beyond what you feel, and when you anchor yourself to that truth, you will not be shaken. Many people believe that peace is the absence of emotions, but that is not true. Peace is the ability to remain steady even when emotions come. It is the strength to say, I may feel afraid, but I will not let fear lead me. I may feel discouraged, but I will not let discouragement define me. I may feel anger, but I will not let it control me. That is true power, not the absence of emotion, but the ability to stand firm in the midst of it. There will always be situations that try to provoke a reaction from you. There will always be people who try to stir up your emotions, who push you to respond in anger, in frustration, in fear. But you do not have to take the bait. You can choose to remain in control. You can choose to respond with wisdom instead of reacting out of impulse. Look at those who have walked in wisdom throughout history. They were not free from emotions, but they did not let their emotions rule them. They faced challenges, they faced storms, they faced betrayal, yet they remained steady because they knew that emotions come and go, but truth remains. You have the same choice before you. Will you be ruled by what you feel, or will you take control? Will you allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions in your life, or will you rise above them? Decide today that you will not be led by moods. Decide today that your emotions will not dictate your future. When you feel weak, remind yourself of truth. When you feel lost, remind yourself of who you are. When you feel like giving up, remind yourself that this moment is temporary, but your purpose is eternal. Do not be led by what changes, be led by what remains. This is the key to true strength. Money is a tool, but for many it has become a master. It was never meant to control you, yet countless people live their lives enslaved to it. Some chase after it relentlessly, believing that if they just had more, they would finally find peace. Others fear it, misusing and mishandling it, allowing it to slip through their fingers without understanding its true purpose. But hear me when I say this. Until you learn to control your money, it will control you. There are people who have riches beyond measure yet live in misery. And there are those with little who walk in abundance. The difference is not in how much they have, but in how well they steward what they have been given. How many have fallen because of the love of money? How many have destroyed relationships, compromised their values, and even lost their souls in pursuit of wealth? Money itself is not evil. But the love of money, the obsession with it, the willingness to sacrifice everything for it, leads to destruction. There is nothing wrong with having money, but there is something deeply wrong when money has you. There are those who believe that if they just acquire more, they will finally be happy. But wealth without wisdom is a trap. It can buy comfort, but it cannot buy peace. It can buy influence, but it cannot buy purpose. It can buy temporary pleasures, but it cannot buy true fulfillment. Some people do not realize that the way they handle money is a reflection of their mindset. Those who spend recklessly, always seeking the next pleasure, do not understand the power of stewardship. They live for the moment, never thinking about the future, always needing more, yet never satisfied. Then there are those who hoard, fearing lack, never realizing that greed and fear are two sides of the same coin. True financial wisdom is found in balance, in understanding that money is not an end, but a means. It is a resource to be used wisely, to build, to bless, to provide stability, and to create a lasting impact. Many people believe that if they had more money, their problems would disappear. But money does not change who you are. It only magnifies what is already inside of you. If you are unwise with little, you will be unwise with much. If you are generous with little, you will be generous with much. The habits you create now, with whatever you have, will determine how you handle greater responsibility in the future. If you cannot control your spending, if you do not plan, if you do not manage what you have well, no amount of money will ever be enough for you. But if you learn to be disciplined, to budget, to give, to invest, and to use your resources with wisdom, you will always walk in financial stability no matter what season you are in. True prosperity is not about how much you have, it is about how well you manage what you have. Some people waste years chasing wealth only to find themselves empty. Others live in constant anxiety, always worried about money, never experiencing the peace that comes with trust and discipline. But hear me. When you take control of your money, when you become a steward rather than a slave, you will find freedom. You will no longer live in fear of lack. You will no longer make decisions based on financial panic. You will walk with confidence, knowing that your resources are not ruling you, but that you are ruling over them. How you handle your money is a reflection of your priorities. If you spend without thought, it shows a lack of discipline. If you hold on too tightly, it reveals a heart filled with fear. But if you use your money with wisdom, if you save, if you invest, if you give generously, if you recognize that wealth is a tool to be used for a greater purpose, you will walk in abundance. Not just financial abundance, but the abundance of peace, stability, and purpose. Do not let money control your life. Learn to master it, and you will never be its prisoner. Your mind is the battlefield where victories are won and lost. Every action, every decision, every success or failure begins in the mind. The way you think shapes the way you live. If you do not take control of your thoughts, they will take control of you. So many people live in defeat, not because they lack talent, opportunity, or ability, but because their own thoughts have kept them bound. They have allowed doubt, fear, and negativity to take root in their minds, poisoning every area of their lives. But hear me, your mind does not have to be a prison. You have the power to renew your thinking, to take hold of thoughts that bring life, and cast away those that bring destruction. Your thoughts determine your reality. What you meditate on will manifest in your life. If you dwell on problems, your life will be filled with struggle. If you focus on fear, your actions will be driven by anxiety. If you constantly think about failure, you will never have the courage to step into success. But if you choose to fill your mind with truth, if you focus on possibilities rather than limitations, if you reject the lies that say you are not enough and instead embrace the reality that you are capable, strong, and victorious, then you will see transformation take place. Your life is a reflection of your mind. Change the way you think, and you will change the way you live. Many people have built mental strongholds that keep them trapped in cycles of defeat. They say, "I can't," before they even try. They say, "This is just the way I am," never realizing that they have the power to change. They have allowed the words of others, past experiences, and even their own fears to shape their identity. But hear me, you are not what your past says you are. You are not even what others say you are. You are what you choose to believe about yourself. And if your beliefs have been shaped by lies, it is time to replace them with truth. Your mind is not meant to be filled with chaos and confusion. It is meant to be a place of clarity and purpose. But clarity does not come automatically, it comes through discipline. You must be intentional about what you allow into your thoughts. Be careful what you listen to, what you read, and who you surround yourself with. The voices you allow into your mind will either build you up or tear you down. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, if you entertain thoughts of fear, worry, and insecurity, you will never walk in confidence. But if you fill your mind with wisdom, with words of truth, with thoughts that inspire and uplift, then you will develop the strength to overcome anything that comes your way. There will always be battles in the mind. Thoughts of discouragement will try to creep in, fear will try to take hold, doubt will whisper in moments of weakness. But you do not have to accept every thought that enters your mind. Just because a thought appears does not mean it belongs there. You have the authority to reject thoughts that do not serve you. When fear arises, confront it with courage. When doubt comes, answer it with faith. When negativity tries to settle in, replace it with words of power and purpose. You must actively guard your mind, because it is the foundation upon which your entire life is built. Some people believe they cannot control their thoughts, that they are simply victims of whatever enters their minds, but that is not true. You can train your mind just as you train your body. You can develop the habit of positive thinking, of mental strength, of unwavering focus. It takes effort, but the rewards are worth it. Imagine a life free from constant worry, free from the weight of fear, free from the bondage of past mistakes. That kind of life begins with a transformed mind. If you want to see change in your life, start with your thoughts. Stop feeding your mind with doubt. Stop entertaining fears that have no power over you unless you give it to them. Stop allowing negative voices to dictate your future. Take control of your mind, and you will take control of your life. Every great achievement begins with a thought. Every moment of courage, every breakthrough, every step towards success starts in the mind. So choose today to renew your thinking. Choose today to let go of destructive thoughts and embrace a mindset that leads to victory. Your future is waiting, but it starts in your mind. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. It is the foundation of success, the key to mastery, and the difference between those who rise and those who remain stagnant. Without discipline, even the most talented, the most gifted, and the most capable will fall short of their potential. It is not enough to have dreams. It is not enough to desire success. It is not enough to wish for a better life if you do not have the discipline to act, to persist, to sacrifice, and to stay committed. Then your dreams will remain just that, dreams. Many people believe that motivation is the answer, that if they can just feel inspired, they will finally take action. But hear me, motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you may feel unstoppable, ready to conquer anything. The next you may feel exhausted, unmotivated, and discouraged. If you rely on motivation alone, you will never be consistent. It is discipline that will carry you through when motivation fades. It is discipline that will keep you moving forward when your emotions tell you to quit. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who always feel like working hard. They're the ones who do it anyway. Discipline is not easy. It requires sacrifice. It means saying no to distractions, no to comfort, no to excuses. It means pushing forward when everything in you wants to stop. It means making the right choice, not the easy one. Most people are not willing to endure the process, and that is why they never see the results. They want the reward, but they are unwilling to pay the price. They want success, but they are not willing to commit to the daily habits that lead to it. But hear me, the difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not intelligence, not talent, not luck. It is discipline. Look at any area of your life where you are struggling, where you feel stuck, where you are not seeing the results you want. Now ask yourself honestly, have you been disciplined in that area? Have you been consistent? Have you been willing to make the necessary sacrifices? Because the truth is, if you do not take control of your actions, if you do not discipline yourself, life will discipline you. There will come a day when the consequences of laziness, of inconsistency, of procrastination catch up with you. You can choose to discipline yourself now, or you can be forced to face the regret of not doing so later. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the most gifted. They are simply the most disciplined. They wake up when they do not feel like it. They work when they do not feel like it. They push through pain, through failure, through obstacles, because they understand that discipline is the price of success. If you are waiting for the perfect time, the perfect feeling, the perfect circumstances, you will be waiting forever. There will always be a reason to delay, always an excuse to make, always something to blame. But hear me, excuses do not build success. Discipline does. There will be days when you want to quit, days when you question if it is worth it, days when you wonder if all the effort, all the struggle, all the sacrifice is leading anywhere. But that is the test. That is the moment that separates those who make it from those who do not. Anyone can be disciplined when things are easy. Anyone can be committed when they feel good. But true discipline is revealed in the moments when everything in you wants to stop, but you choose to keep going anyway. You must develop the habit of discipline in every area of your life. Discipline in your thoughts, choosing to focus on truth rather than negativity. Discipline in your words, speaking life rather than destruction. Discipline in your emotions, not letting them control you but mastering them. Discipline in your finances, using money wisely rather than letting it control you. Discipline in your habits, committing to daily actions that move you toward your goals. If you master discipline, you will master life. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop making excuses. Decide today that you will be disciplined, that you will be consistent, that you will stay committed no matter what. The future you desire is possible, but only if you are willing to pay the price. Success is not given, it is earned, and it is earned through discipline.